to the next speaker. I would like to introduce Dr. Varun Singla. He will be speaking on ultrasound guided sacroiliac joint MIPSI, and he is a dynamic pain physician from Chandigarh, and he has done MD from PGI and PDCC from SGPGI Lucknow. He started working in Safdarjung Hospital, Delhi, and he is associated to various private and corporate hospitals of Gurgaon. And presently, he is working as consultant at Revive Pain Spine and assistant professor at MMU Ambala. Dr. Varun Singla, your time limit is 20 minutes, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Avnish. Thank you for the kind introduction. So I am Dr. Varun Singla, and I'll be talking about ultrasound-guided sacral joint injections or the interventions. So I'll try to keep it simple because this initiative is for the young pain physicians and anesthesiologists who want to learn pain medicine. So coming to the topic, so first of all, what is sacroiliac joint pain? Sacroiliac joint pain patients usually present to us with buttock pain, low back pain, and relating to thigh or anteriorly. So they usually pinpoint to the PSIS or sacroiliac joint, and when you do the provocative test, you find it positive, like Yeoman, Ganslands, or Petrick or Faber test you can do. So they will come to positive, but the problem is that when you do all these tests and you take the history, you have a suggestion that this is a sacroiliac joint pain, but this is not the diagnosis. So the gold standard for diagnosis is injecting local anesthetic into the joint and looking for the response. If this is positive, then you show that this is a pain and it is a sacroiliac joint. So that is why it is very important to understand and know the injections or the interventions for sacroiliac joint, so that you can diagnose the pathology and also you can treat that. So there are many ways we do it. We can use fluoroscopy, which is a C-arm or the X-ray machine in the OT, or we can use ultrasound, or we can use CT or MRI. CT, MRI are little cumbersome techniques, and you need a separate CT console and MRI console for that, and these are expensive too. So usually, conventionally, we use fluoroscopy for sacroiliac joint interventions. There are some advantages and some disadvantages of the fluoroscopy, and recently we have started shifting to the ultrasound, and this is the new technique that we are using, although it has been like a decade since we have been using it, but since now also many of us are not using that. Let's start using it and let's understand how we do the ultrasound guided interventions, specifically talking about sacroiliac joint intervention. So in this figure, you can see that there is one sacrum, you can see a bony shadow, and one ilium, you can see that is bony shadow, and in between, when there is no bony shadow, there is a joint, sacroiliac joint. So first of all, let's come to the anatomy so that we can understand the ultrasound anatomy after that. So the basic anatomy of sacroiliac joint is that it is the joint between the sacrum on the medial side and the ilium on the lateral side. So this is a diarthrodial joint. This is a big joint in the spine. You can see that on the lateral, this is the lateral view. Keep this in mind because this is important while taking the lateral view picture on the X-ray in the fluoroscopy. Looking from the side, this is the S-shaped joint. So now you can see that from the posterior side, this is the ilium, this is sacrum, and in between this is the sacroiliac joint. The ultrasound that we usually use is the curvilinear probe for this, and we keep it in a transverse view. And I try to do it in in-plane technique rather than out-of-plane technique so that we can see the needle clearly. So here you can see the spinous process in between, in the midline. Now he's moving the probe a little laterally. Now moving the probe laterally, you will see the lateral crest of the sacrum. And then you will see the superior iliac spine or the posterior superior iliac spine. Then a little bit of maneuvering capsular and caudal and a little bit of tilting, you will be able to see the proper sacroiliac joint. And also when you go down, you will be able to appreciate the sacral foraminers, S1, S2. So we'll be coming to it. Don't worry. So how I do it? So I do it in a two-way. I do two techniques. I call it for simplification up-down technique and the down-up technique. when we are moving from the up down, like we start from the L5 spinous process and then we go a little laterally to see the PSIS or the posterior spine, and then we go down. So this is called as up down technique. And when in the down up technique, we start from the sacral hiatus and then we go up and then a little laterally. So we are going up in this. So we call it down up technique. First of all, up down technique. This is the L5 spinous process. In the image, you can see that. Moving a little laterally, you'll be able to appreciate this PSIS. Probably I can't move my cursor. You can see my cursor. So this is the PSIS and this is the lateral crest of the sacrum. In between, this is the sacroiliac joint. So coming a little down, you will be able to appreciate the sacral foramina here. Maybe I can show this again. Maybe I can show this. Okay, so we'll go to the caudal, the down up technique. This is the sacral cornuas. We're going a little up. This is the midline sacrum. We're going up. And now we need to move a little laterally to appreciate the sacroiliac joint. This is the lateral crest of the sacrum. This is sacrum. And this thing we see, this is the ilium. And in between, this will be the sacroiliac joint. So here we can see the sacral foramina. Here will be the sacral foramina. When you move cataract and caudal, you will be able to appreciate it better, the sacral foraminas. So here I am trying to show the sacral foramina in this image. So you can do it at the S1 foramina or you can do it at the S2 foramina. So this is the first image in the S1 foramina. So this is the S1 foramen. When you move from the midline to the lateral side, first of all, you will appreciate the sacral foramen. And then you will come to the sacroiliac joint. So the next shadow is of the sacroiliac joint. And in this lower figure, you can see this is the medial sacrum. This is the lateral crest of the sacrum. Then you appreciate the S2 foramina, S2 sacral foramina. Then you move a little lateral, then you will see the sacroiliac joint. So this is how we do it. I try to do it at the level of S2 foramina because it is a little easier. The depth is a little less as compared to the S1 foramen. And one thing very important here is that when you are doing it a little superiorly, when you're doing it at a upper level, superior level, the sacrum, the ilium is a little tilted towards the medial side. So you need to move your needle medial to lateral. While if you're doing a little inferior side, like if you're doing at S2 foramen, it will be vertical. So you can go directly. A little bit medial to lateral will be required, but not that much, right? So this here you can see that in this figure, this is at the S1 foramen. Here is the sacroiliac joint, and this is the S1 foramen. So you need to go a little medial to lateral here in this, while in the S2 foramen it is quite easy to do it. A little, not that much angulation is needed. It is a little less depth is required is also there. So better to go for S2 foramen. One more thing, the synovial joint is in the inferior portion of the sacroiliac joint rather than in the superior portion. In the superior portion, you will see more of syndesmosis. So, and interosseous ligament is also there on the superior side. So better to go in the inferior part. So a little video to show how I do it. So these are the requirements, the equipments that we use. This is the curvilinear probe. We can use a linear probe also in thin patients if it is not that deep. Otherwise, you can use curvilinear probe. So patient is lying prone. We can mark it, the sacral hiatus, sacral corner, we can mark PSIS in the cross mass, and the dot is the probable intervention we will be doing. So this is the down up technique that I am showing. So we move the probe in the transverse view from the downside in the midline, and then we move laterally where we propose to do the intervention. So here you can see the sacral hiatus, and then you can see the sacral cornuas, and moving up you in the midline, midline sacrum. So this is the midline sacrum, and you have started appreciating the lateral crest of the sacrum now. So a little bit of movement upside, you will start seeing the ilium, And when you start seeing the ilium, you are in the inferior portion of the sacroiliac joint. So this is the sacroiliac joint. This is the lateral capsular sacrum. This is the ilium. So this is the sacroiliac joint. If you move up, you can see the S2 foramen and S1 foramen. I am sorry, I am not able to show in this video. This is how we go in plane from medial to lateral. The needle position is medial to lateral. So here the needle is coming. Not that good a video, but probably if you are able to appreciate the needle. So this is the lateral capsular sacrum. This is the ilium, and this is the sacroiliac joint. So here we are entering from the medial to the lateral side. So what I do is I usually check in the fluoroscopy after I have placed the needle inside the joint via ultrasound. So after that we can give the contrast injection and see if we are inside the joint or we are giving it periodically. Probably we might be giving periodically also. So better to use fluoroscopy along with it. Although there are critics who say that there's no use when you are doing ultrasound, but I use fluoroscopy along with it. So a little bit of tips for fluoro-guided sacroiliac joint intervention. If the organizers permit, I would like to share a few tips for fluoro-guided also, because we are doing more of fluoro-guided and we are shifting to SIJ. So I thought
Please go on. Please go on. You have time.
Thank you, sir. So this, in the first figure, you can see this. Usually, how we do the fluoro-guided, we use a little Kefled, a 10 to 15 degree Kefled position of the fluoroscope tunnel, and a little bit of contralateral oblique from 10 to 15 degree. So that this is why do we do this contralateral obliques to place the anterior and posterior sacroiliac joint lines in line. So that is why we do it, so that we can see the single joint and we can do it easily. So in this first figure, you can see that this is the medial lip of the joint, medial joint line. So we use a curved needle and we try to hit the medial side of the joint line, and then we tilt the curve of the needle a little laterally and we enter the joint, and then we can move it a little Kefled, and then we can inject the drug. So that is the usual technique that we do. This is the AP technique or the PA technique, in which we need not go for any obliquity or Kefled position of the fluoroscope. We can do it directly. It is very fast. So the important thing in this is that you will see two lines here, two joint lines here. One is the medial joint line, one is the lateral joint line. So always remember, this is the golden point, that medial joint line is where you need to go. This is the posterior one, while the lateral joint line is the anterior sacroiliac joint. So go for the medial joint line in the inferior part, just like normally you do it. Little Kefled position of the needle is advisable. Try to go little towards the S2 foramen. In this figure down, you can see this is the contralateral oblique technique. You can see a single joint with two joint lines, and here you can see four joint lines with two joints. The middle one is the posterior joint, where we do the intervention, while the lateral one is the anterior sacroiliac joint line. People, when it is reported that if you are not able to intervene in the medial joint line, that is the posterior one, you might go into the lateral joint line also. You can try the lateral joint line also, and you might be successful with that also. So you can do that also. This is a very good technique I use in difficult sacroiliac joint interventions when I don't want to take chances. So what I do is, this is the double needle technique. We use two needles in that. First of all, the usual technique of the contralateral oblique, and then we go into the joint. We place the needle inside. But the problem while injecting contrast is, if it is not inside the joint, there will be a patch on the film. You will not be able to direct it again, or you will not be able to use another needle and go inside the joint, because you will not see anything on the picture. So you place the first needle and you tilt the X-ray machine a little oblique, lateral and medial. You do a dynamic fluoroscopy, and you try to see if the needle tip remains inside the joint or it is moving along at the bone. If the needle tip is inside the joint when you are moving the fluoroscope from the lateral to medial obliquely, then it is probably you are at the right space. If it is coming to the bone, like in this second figure, you can see, first of all, this first figure, we have placed the needle inside the joint, but when we did the different angle position of the fluoroscope, we found that the needle was rather on the bone, not in the joint. So keep that needle there only, don't take it out. Use another needle at that angle and inject and place the needle inside the joint. Then you can give contrast. You have two needles inside. Now you try to give contrast from the first needle, and then you try to give contrast to the second needle. Either one of it can be inside the joint. So here you can see that the second needle is inside the joint, while the first needle is showing the contrast a little medially, probably a vascular uptake. So this is a very good technique. People have done in the superior sacroiliac joint also. I haven't done this, but they have reported that they start from the L5, little below the L5 spinous process at the L5S1 disc, and then they go at the 45-degree angle laterally towards the superior sacroiliac joint, and then they enter the sacroiliac joint and then they inject. So probably because in the superior portion the ilium is a little medially, while the sacrum is a little like this, so you go or you have to go quite middle to lateral position. So that's why they have started from the L5S1 disc. So I would like to tell that always, usually we don't do this, but always try to do a lateral fluoroscopy, take a lateral view also when you are doing sacroiliac intervention, and try to keep the needle a little above the S2 foramen. Try to keep the needle a little bit above the S2 foramen in the lateral view, and when you do arthrogram, when you inject the contrast, you will be able to see the sacroiliac joint. You will be see the arthrogram of the sacroiliac joint quite visibly, and you're quite sure that it is inside. Although in the AP technique or the oblique technique also there is contrast moving in the joint, but little technique is we will be quite sure with that.
Dr. Varun, we are running just a bit short of time, so
I'll be finishing.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little bit about the benefits and the drawbacks of ultrasound and fluoroscopy. So with ultrasound, you can it is portable and it is easy to use, and it is greatly accessible. There is no ionizing radiation. These are simple. These are the usual advantages that we have. But there are some disadvantages also in when we are using it, because we won't be able to inject contrast and see the arthrogram in ultrasound. So we can do it via X-ray fluoroscope, but not with ultrasound. And the accuracy with sacroiliac joint in the sacroiliac joint is a little less as compared to fluoroscopy. It is around 87-88%, while with the fluoroscopy it is 98 to 99%. So when you're doing diagnostic injections, particularly, try to go for fluoroscopy, because you want to be sure and you want to pick all the patients. You don't want to miss them. While if you're doing those therapeutic, you can go for ultrasound injections. In this, I found this very interesting study in which they have used color Doppler for ultrasound intervention. Like we are discussing that in fluoroscopy, we won't be able to give contrast. We won't be able to verify that is inside the is it intra-articular or not. So what they have done is they have used color Doppler. When they are injecting the drug inside the joint, they have placed the needle. Now they are injecting the drug. They start the color Doppler on the ultrasound, and while giving the drug, if there is flow, there will be reverberations in the color Doppler, and you will see that it is not moving. The reverberations are not moving outside, but they are inside the joint. Then you are quite sure that we are intra-articular in ultrasound. So lastly, some points to remember. So try to target the inferior caudal joint space for the young pain physicians who are starting. Needle direction is from the medial to lateral, because the orientation of the sacral joint is like this. The clinical efficacy, this is controversial, whether to give intra-articular or peri-articular. With ultrasound, probably you might give periarticular also. You might not be able to go intra-articular, but the clinical efficacy has been shown to be same with periarticular or intra-articular. So don't worry if you have given periarticular also, or it might be giving good results with that also. So needle placement accuracy, better with fluoroscope than ultrasound. So for diagnostic injections, better to verify with fluoroscope rather than solely going for with ultrasound. The learning curve is there. You see, the COVID era is going on, and we are using masks now. Now we are used to the masks. Earlier, when we started putting on masks, it was very difficult. We felt breathless. Now it is easy, and rather it has now when I go out, if mask is not on, I feel something is missing. Same with the ultrasound. So when you start with it, it might be difficult, but when you are used to it, you will miss ultrasound. Thank you. Any questions you can please ask.
Thank you, Dr. Varun. The questions we will be taking up to